Welcome to All Pro Football Data. My name is Jim Coburn, and today's episode, we're talking about Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver out of Florida. We're going to be looking at his data profile to kind of see what he compares to based on his production data, athleticism data, and those other sort of factors. Pearsall played 3 seasons at Arizona State before transferring to Florida in 2022. And we're going to look at him in terms of his production data. So if you're new to the channel, new to the stuff that I do, pause the video real quick to kind of see how I get offensive market share numbers. But based on his offensive market share, he had a 66 percentile receiving market share score, 76 percentile in terms of total offensive market share, and 54 percentile in terms of touchdown market share. Those numbers hit within the starter averages at the position. Looking at his efficiency data, not the most efficient wide receiver. He had a 40 percentile receiving or yards per reception score, and then he also had a 30 percentile touchdown percentage score. So he was mildly productive, but wasn't very efficient with the football in his hands, and that's the biggest sort of concern with him from that kind of standpoint. Looking at his athleticism data, this is why people are so excited about Pearsall. He had a 79 percentile explosion score, 68 percentile in terms of speed, and then 90 percentile in terms of flexibility for his size. Looking at the starter Pro Bowl averages at the position, he's pretty much within those averages. Athleticism of wide receiver is not the biggest deal in the world, though. You do want to be an above average athlete, which he is. But it's not exactly the biggest indicator for success. So in other words, if you had 90 plus percentile speed, there's really not much of a difference between the success rate for a guy with 90 percentile speed versus a guy with 68 percentile speed. You just want above average speed is what you want at the position. So that's the basic gist of it. Now going to his adjusted production scores, looking at his age, his MSA rating, and his pass rating. These things look at things like strength of schedule, strength of team, those types of factors. His adjusted production is not that great. His age score was 9 percentile. He's been in college football for a very long time. His MSA rating, which takes into account his market share data plus his strength of schedule, strength of team type stuff, 65 percentile, and then 58 percentile for his pass score. He's near the starter average, but not necessarily there. He's definitely above the starter threshold and the Pro Bowl threshold, but this is not exactly where you want to be in terms of a wide receiver. It really isn't in terms of his adjusted production score. And this is probably the biggest Achilles heel in his whole data profile. Moving to the comparisons for him. These are all the wide receivers that tested very similar to Ricky Pearsall based on his production traits. As you can see, not a lot of success, a lot of backups, a lot of spot starters. I think Robbie Anderson in here is a pretty maybe decent comp for him. And then, of course, Michael Thomas would be like an outlier. Again, outlier is, for those that don't really do data, is somebody who is outside in the bottom, 5%, if you will, outside of the norm. So Thomas is definitely not the norm for players who produce like this in terms of his age and his MSA rating and his pass rating. So Pearsall, I would not really compare him to Michael Thomas. If you want to, that's your own business. But again, this just kind of shows you that there are some successful players in this particular area of production and his other factors. But he is a concern. He is somebody who's going to have to be an outlier if he becomes a long-term starter. Moving to the outlook for Pearsall. He profiles as a backup to outlier Pro Bowler long-term. The biggest weakness in his profile comes down to his age and lack of elite production traits. Pearsall has unique athleticism and a unique journey to the NFL, indeed, going from Arizona State to Florida and then Florida to here. But I would likely expect Pearsall to become a backup more so than a long-term starter at the position. But let me know in the comment section below, what do you feel about Ricky Pearsall? Do you like him? Do you not like him? Do you think he's underrated? All those things, please comment below about that. Also leave a like, comment, and subscribe I've noticed, based on the analytics I've been doing, that there's a lot of people that have watched my videos but haven't subscribed. Why haven't you subscribed? So if you like this channel, you like the data work that I'm doing, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you get my videos when they come out. And also checking me out on Twitter, or from, now known as X, on Geometrics. Also check my Patreon page, patreon.com/jcoburn. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.